Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, Northernlion, playing The Binding of Isaac, because no one else will, okay? B3PP. I'm sorry. YWN2. Cat and Ninetails, amazing. Guppies, fine, I'll do it once. I regret everything. You know what? Screw that. We're going again. You know what's funny? We lost Cat and Ninetails. You know why I decided to do it once more? Or to do it once? Is because we just had that run with Data Miner. And I was so negative about Data Miner and have been for probably 2 years. And then all of a sudden we have that run. And Data Miner... Don't make me do it. Data Miner crushed. Is what I was gonna say. Here's your new seed. This is why we can never get a streak going. EYZ1R9XLF. I should know how to do that room by now, of course, but I thought I'd give Clicker a chance. It turned us into probably the only character who was guaranteed to destroy us like that, so be it, but simultaneously, ugh. Whatever, take my bone art, see if I care, dude. I'm salty now, and like, deservedly so. So we've learned a couple of things. Data Miner, bad but situational. Clicker, never ever touch it. Let's go over what we got out of Clicker real quick before we never speak of that situation again, ever. What did we get out of Clicker? Oh, let me count the myriad positives that we got out of Clicker. It took away our only item, which was a damage upgrade. Highly desirable. And then it turned us into the most likely character in the game to die. If you ignore both of those, all it did was suck up 6 rooms of our attention while we tried to recharge it. Life goes on. You know what I guess we could have done? Is sat in that room. But even Guppy's paw doesn't work with the greed, so it's not like we were gonna ever just... Like, the door would open, but what am I gonna do after that point? Is what it comes down to. Yas. Not a good situation. Anyway, I'm not salty that, like... Again, a streak at 6 doesn't matter. We're just clowning right now. One day, perhaps soon, we'll endeavor to keep a streak going again. Usually it happens by accident, you know, I get like 15 wins deep and I decide, hey man, maybe this could be a streakable situation here. You ever think about that? Gotta admit, not playing too strongly right out the bat here. All I want to know is why we were re-rolled into a little greed. And I'm just gonna go for this right off the bat because I don't like our HP situation right now. Okay, well, we could do this as well. Why did we re-roll into a greed that was missing 1 HP? Anyway, this is just all academic questions. The loss is in the books, and the rock is definitely in the building. Let's get ready. No keys required on this floor, but we definitely want to preserve our deal with the devil chance. Anyone out there, you know, you got like a degree in data science or something like that? Because I am kind of starting to be of the opinion that the last, not for my whole life have I been unlucky in Isaac. There's a reason that, you know, there's NL luck, you know, is a real thing. Well, not a real thing, but like a perceived thing. I really feel like for the last, you know, month or so of runs, we've been having some really spotty item generation. A lot of bad passives. And a lot of bad actives. Would I rather have a bad passive or a bad active? Well, like, I'd rather have a passive... You know what? I'd rather have a passive that's like 50-50 over an active that sucks and is worse than our current active. But I'd rather have neither because, I mean, we're just not going to take Eve's Mascara. It's very bad most of the time. Probably some unique situations where it's only sort of bad. So, I probably, obviously, should not have been this aggressive right off the bat. But why was I so aggressive on that deal with the devil? Two things. Duality's fun. Deals with the angel tend to be worse than deals with the devil, but I admire the flexibility that they give you if you got low HP, which we probably will have. You go for deals with the angel instead, and every once in a while you get yourself a real winner. Plus, deals with the devil, no guarantee. You know, we had that Dark Prince's Crown, Ghost Baby, betrayal deal with the devil on the last run, which ironically turned out to be a win, while this one started with a loss. But I digress. Right now, what I think we should do is something we don't do well enough all the time. And that's, on this floor, make sacrifices to make sure that we're going to be okay for future floors. In particular, and by the way, this room is scaring the crap out of me right now, but in particular, it would be wise to go to the shop and attempt to buy a spirit heart. If there's any demon hearts, or sorry, if there's any tinted rocks on display here, we'd like to take advantage of that as well, so be it. Okay. Life goes on. I don't want to be a guy who complains about a lot of stuff, you know? I really don't like complaining in general. That's so painful to me. All I've ever wanted was the Zane, dude. All I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed is here in your room. Words are very unnecessary. So I shouldn't have done that, but you know why I did it? Because one way that you can create Zane out of a Zaneless situation is to double the effect of something. It's like if you saw a man with an extraordinarily large nose, like Pinocchio, you would be like, that's hilarious. No matter who you are, you would laugh. I promise you that. You saw a guy walking down the street, he had a 3-foot-long nose. If you saw a woman walking down the street with a 3-foot-long nose, you would not laugh, because that's misogyny. But if I saw a dude walking down the street with a 3-foot-long nose, I would find it funny and simultaneously have pity. It's not okay to laugh at physical disability, but if a deformity is particularly humorous, I'm gonna get myself in trouble with that. All I'm saying is, exaggeration is part of the spirit of comedy, okay? Now, we've made a terrible mistake here. I really thought we would have 36 rate of fire, 22 damage, which in and of itself is not even really that good. But it would have been noteworthy. It would have been a 3-foot nose, you know? You see someone walking out there, they got a 6-inch long nose, you pity them. 3-foot long nose, that's a job as far as I'm concerned. That's a career. You can go on TV. You can be the guy with the huge nose. People are going to ask you about it. They'll be like, what's it like having a huge nose? You'll be like, wait, there's got to be a good joke. Nobody knows what it's like to be me. Sorry, Oprah, that doesn't pass the smell test. Get your own show on the Harpo Network. Someone told me that according to Wikipedia, Oprah's name in real life is not Oprah, but Orpa. Can I check this? Wikipedia. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, born Orpa Gale. Again, that's humor, dude, okay? You know why that's humor? It's so close to what I had assumed her name was, Oprah. But it's slightly different. But despite only being one letter off, the sound changes so much. Orpa Winfrey. Now, you know what's gonna mess with you? Is like a Matrix situation. If she had called herself Orpa and you found out her real name was Oprah, Oprah would probably sound more ridiculous. Alright, I guess I'll be starting another run here. I deserve that for being a terrible person throughout the bits today. That's fine. I mean, I highly did it to myself. What are our stats like? This is a classic Eden run. Good rate of fire, bad damage. I can live with it. When your name has become like a verb, That's how you know you've done it. Well, you've either done a good job or you've murdered someone. Those are the two possible options. And in all likelihood, you didn't do a good job murdering them because people found out, and now they're using your name as a shorthand for it. We're actually going to do something on this run. We're going to succeed. I'm going to stop messing around, dude. What was it? It was D10, right? D10 is just extremely trashed here. If you're going to lose 2 times, you'd like to lose 2 times back to back. That's all I'm going to say about that. So this is what I was looking for, by the way. If you're wondering, like, NL, why are you so bad at the room when you had stuff on the line, and then this time you're doing just fine? I was looking for a TNT barrel that was pushable, and none of them existed, okay? That's what I was trying to create, but every single one of the TNT barrels on the last attempt was not acquiesceable via that methodology. So be it. It's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. I'm gonna give you one more attempt here. I'm gonna try to. What's it gonna take to send you out of the dealership today, behind the wheel of a 2015 Ford Focus, lightly used, in need of an oil change desperately? You still haven't gotten your oil change? It's been 15 minutes. Okay. Time passes differently in the quantum realm where I record the Isaac episodes. I'm down in the mines. Tunk, tunk, mining these thick veins of synergies and items. You know what I'm about to do, by the way. I'm about to be an idiot and probably give away my spirit hearts to that blood bank in the hopes that we get enough money for us to get a health upgrade from the demon, or the regular judgment, I should say. Dude, I gotta tell you, Kate and I have a sick hookup, okay? You've heard of Blue Apron. Pardon me. You've heard of DoorDash. We got the next great thing. And I'm not sure, I'm genuinely not trying to take this company out of business, because I love them and I want them to succeed, but it's also an amazing anecdote. I'm not sure the business is, as they say, strictly legal. But I kind of think that's one of the... Like, as an adult, don't you need some kind of business you interact with that's not strictly legal? You know, you need a bookie or like, oh, I got a meat guy. Don't worry about that, you know? So we got this thing. It's a Korean company, or at least like a Korean person. I don't know if there's a company situation involved here. And what they do is they basically are operating like a delivery situation, restaurant, I don't know what you want to call it. So once a week, they send out a menu. And if you like what's on the menu, like dumplings, soup, bulgogi, blah, blah, blah. You pick up whichever of the things that are there that you want. It has a certain price associated with it, as things are wont to do. Somebody drives up, gives you the food pre-cooked. Like, they clearly homemade, by the way, because we had some last night and it was delicious. It's the greatest system I've ever experienced in my entire life. It's like Blue Apron, but a restaurant. And also, like, relatively cheap because of the fact that I'm not sure if they're strictly legal, so to speak, again. So we getting all this, like, legitimate, authentic, home-cooked Korean meals. It's like having a Korean grandma. We are literally, you know, we're paying for it. And there's always the risk that, you know, they're not, you know, beholden to the strident rules of the health code or something like that. I don't know, maybe they are. Maybe it is totally legit and I'm projecting and being kind of a jerk. But, I'm just saying. This is a sick setup, dude. It's like having, like, a legal Uber or something like that. I'm living it up. Having some chicken soup tonight. Might not sound that amazing, but I gotta be honest, if you're watching this video and you're from the West, we don't do soups right over here, okay? We do a lot of things right. I love American cuisine. I've gone on the tangent many a times. I'll spare you from it this time. I love American cuisine. Not just, oh, pizza, hamburger, french fry, ha 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 ha. But like, you know, the fusion of other cultures' cuisines. authentic versions of ethnic food, fusion versions of ethnic food. I love it. You got everything, okay? But we don't do a good job with soups. Whenever you think of soups in North America, people are like, you know, you think of like a watery, like Campbell's chicken noodle soup. What, are you sick or something like that? Why are you eating soup? Soup's an appetizer at best, maybe a side. Nah, dude. Other parts of the world, they do soup right. Korean soup, gamjatang, budae jjigae, kimchi jjigae, dakdari. I know it sounds like I'm making these up. Dakdari tang, I should say. Dare we make the same mistake we've made every single time recently? Sure, why not? Soup's a meal. You know, just because it's watery doesn't mean it's a drink or something like that. And by the way, I can get down with a watery soup. Ate a lot of Campbell's growing up. Well, not growing up because I didn't really like soup, but in that brief window between starting to eat soup because I decided it wasn't becoming of an adult to be a picky eater, and moving to Korea where I was introduced to the greatest soups ever made. What are you? Just bone? No, you're, yeah, like 8 bone hearts. I remember. Actually 6 bone hearts, but still. What do you got for me? Not what I'm looking for. Full health? Not what I'm looking for. But that's pretty good. Ate a lot of Campbell's. A lot of the Campbell's Chunkies, too. It was like, hey, what if you had a soup that tasted like not that good, but simultaneously was 1,400 calories? You know, okay, yeah, now you're speaking my language. But I'm telling you, you ain't ever lived until you've had a Burmese mohinge with a little chickpea cracker inside of it. Dude, that's what I'm looking for. Right there. Hook me up with the most beautiful things I could ever ask for, like a health and speed upgrade. So if you're wondering why I'm excited about soup, that's why I'm excited about soup. Because it's something worth being excited for. The dream is real. We're still in the room because of Goat Head. We don't really want Razor Blade, though. But I'll tell you what, lest ye think, because I know everybody in their life knows 1 or 2 people like this. They go to a foreign country for 2 days. And then when they come back, they're like, you don't understand what it's like there. Everything's so much better. Everyone's so quiet and peaceful, and also the anime is good anyway. I'm not saying that it exclusively happens about Japan. I'm just saying that it happens about Japan a lot. And you're like, dude, you lived in this country your whole life. Of course you're more prone to see the negatives. I'm not trying to tell you that I would rather live in Burma than live in Canada. Burma might be lovely, but, you know, I got roots here. I'm integrated here, okay? Like, this is where I belong, at least for the time being. You know what other countries don't do that well? And I'm leaving you out of this, Europe, okay? Because, please, duct tape, I'm begging you. Because, to be honest, I'm just ignorant. I've never been to mainland Europe. But the people there are so quiet and peaceful. The West does sandwiches right. Asia, way lacking in the sandwich game. And I know you're gonna feed me some line about, oh, well, cultural tastes are different and blah blah. Nah, dude, there's like a sandwich law. I'm a rigorous hardline sandwich traditionalist. Some of these Asian sandwiches are starting to offend me, okay? Let me hit you up with one. White bread, whipped cream, sliced strawberries. Half of you out there right now are going, oh, that sounds pretty good. Stop. You're trying too hard to be worldly, okay? It's an unbecoming look. That's not a sandwich. That's a mistake. Let me hit you up with another one, okay? Ooh! White bread with the crust cut off. And if you're starting this and you're going, so far so good, get some help, okay? You gotta start embracing the crust lifestyle. They're not weird. It's just cooked bread, you weirdos. Why you stop? Just because it's a different color doesn't mean it's, like, bad for you or so. Anyway. Follow it up, thick layer of mayonnaise. Follow that up, bologna. Follow that up, American cheese. Follow that up, thick layer of mayonnaise. Follow that up, untoasted crustless white bread. No, thank you. Your sandwich game leaves a lot to be desired. There's no pretzel buns. There's no brioche. There's no sourdough, pumpernickel, rye, mustard. It's all mayonnaise and one thin slice of cured pork product. There's a long way to go. I'm gonna spare you because this tangent could go on forever. All I'm gonna say is if you're in North America and you're feeling self-conscious about the rest of the world catching up to you in a pizza department, don't you worry your pretty little head about Asia. Sweet potato mousse on pizza, corn on pizza, potato on pizza. Nothing gets me more rattled, by the way. I go, yeah, I've had about 1,500 Korean pizzas, and I don't think they're as good as American pizzas by and large. And then someone goes, well, they sound pretty good. You would never do that to anybody else. If you went to your, urologist, and he's like, your cords are all twisted up down there, he'd be like, well, you said, well, it works fine to me. You would come across like an idiot. I basically ate pizza semi-professionally while I was there. So please respect my opinion. It's coming from a place of learnedness. Sure, I'll take soy milk. Why not? Let's go to town, dude. You gotta learn to trust people's experiences. To some extent, at least. I could do better about that. Like, especially, dude. So, like, the worst meal I've ever eaten in my life, bar none. I'm gonna tell the boiled triangle story. But an abridged version. Basically, I ate a cooked plant jelly in Japan called konyaku, also known as the devil's tongue. It's a very silly name for something that is, like, not spicy or, like, it doesn't cause psychoactive effects. It's basically just, like, clear tofu or something like that. But it doesn't taste like tofu. It tastes like literally nothing at all. Which is incredibly unappetizing. Because I'm someone who, for my entire life, has prided myself on eating food that has taste. I just assumed that was, like, a basic assumption. And if you don't think a tasteless food is weird, imagine looking at something that was formless. You know, that's like an Annihilation, Alex Garland situation. Now you understand how unsettled I was while consuming it. I told the story on the NLSS. Most people were like, that sounds gross. A couple people were like, I don't know what he's complaining about. That sounds good. Go try it then, okay? I don't mind if you go, that sounds good. I'm going to go try it within the next month and report back to you. It's only when you go, that sounds good, I'm having chicken fingers and curly fries for lunch, that your boy starts to get a little tilted and goes, put your money where your mouth is. You want the credit for thinking that the boiled triangles sound good? Don't let me stop you. Go eat some boiled triangles. I'm sure you can find them. And, even if you don't live in a major city, you may be able to find a metropolis that has an Asian grocery store, at which point you can pick up the konyaku and cook it for yourself and eat it. And then look at me as you chew it and with a straight face tell me, it's good. I doubt you'll be able to, but if you can, congratulations. We've collaborated together to find one of your new favorite foods. And that's a net positive for planet Earth, because the more happy and satisfied people we have out there, the easier life's gonna be for everybody. You don't get the credit for liking the weird exotic food until you try it. I always had, there's one I used to watch, No Reservations with Anthony Bourdain, with this guy in college. Not Mouth, and not me, and not the dude who vandalized the street sign. And they would always do stuff like they'd be in Vietnam, and Anthony Bourdain, God rest him, would be like, hey, you want to do a shot of Vietnamese tequila with a snake head inside of it? And everyone would be like, no, but I'll do it, because you're a very persuasive, charismatic individual, Anthony Bourdain. Plus the cameras are on, and I don't want to publicly be shamed into looking like I don't have the gall. One of my friends would always be like, I'd do that. This dude didn't even eat, like, vegetables. But for whatever reason, when he became intoxicated with the flair of No Reservations, it would always... This is the guy who you'd go to a new restaurant, and you'd be like, ooh, do you guys want to do an appetizer and share it? And he'd be like, whoa, hold up there, sharing food? What country do you think you're in, mister? I'll do it, but it better be nachos. And we were like, yeah, dude, we were gonna get the nachos. It's the best appetizer. objectively speaking. So it'd be the first guy who would be like, yeah, I'd eat that pig's skull. You're like, no, you wouldn't. I haven't even seen you eat a cucumber. All your meals are like you like cook a pork chop in a frying pan and then put it on top of some minute rice. You're not the dude that I think of when it comes to, you know, exotic food 101. And neither was I at that time, by the way. I've eaten my share of insects now. Wouldn't recommend it. Same thing happens when I tell people, you know, in Korea, old people and people with something to prove, aka young males like I was when I lived there, commonly eat this drinking food called bandegi, which is just silkworm larva. When I tell people about it and I go, it tastes like trash, people go, well, you know, it sounds not that bad, and in the future we're all gonna start eating insects, so you better get used to it. After you, buddy. I've already had my fill. I've probably consumed, I don't know, maybe 100 times more insects than the average Canadian. So if you want to get started, I'll be over here waiting for you to make up your fill of the quota. I'll see you next year when we break even with one another and we can start commiserating together. You don't get the credit for saying you're gonna do the thing until you do the thing. That's the take-home lesson here. Otherwise, it's just cuisine signaling. And I don't know if you've... I'm not gonna go down this road. Mostly because it's satirical, but people would take it seriously. But not everybody, but like some people would take it seriously, and then it's a whole thing. Anyway, I haven't told this story in a while, but it fits in with the theme. It's all variations on a theme in these Isaac episodes at this point in my life. We had a terrible neighbor once, in the place where we live right now. Like, he's long gone, thankfully. I'm not gonna say that I hope he's dead, but I hope that if he didn't become a better person, he's in a place where he can't hurt anybody anymore. Okay, it sounds like I'm wishing he was dead. No, I wish he reformed. But if he didn't reform, it might be a net good. Okay, I'm not gonna go down. I'm just saying, okay, he's not a good dude. Partied until like 5 a.m. every night. Never, except for one time, the first time I knocked on his door, and he was like, at least in his mid-40s. So I'm like, I was 25 or 26. I go and knock on his door at 3 a.m. He would open it up, and I would just be like, dude, you're somebody's dad. Could you just cool it on these like super late night parties in an apartment building of all places? And he's like, yeah, I'll keep it. Sorry, dude. Thanks for not calling the cops. And I was like, what kind of life have you lived where you gotta thank someone for not calling the cops? I've never done that. It's never entered into my worldview whatsoever. But anyway, one time, this is still when we spoke to one another. Me and Kate and he and his lady friend were in the elevator. That wasn't an attempt to, by the way, make it seem like he was engaged in a casual relationship. For all I know, it could have been his wife or his ex-wife or something like that. You know, I'm just saying I didn't know the relationship, so I didn't mean to presume. And I'm not denigrating her by calling her a lady friend, is all I'm saying. I think we're good to go. The point is, he was like, hey, you're my neighbor. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I was going to get you a bottle of wine because you knocked on the door instead of calling the cops on me that one time when I was really noisy. And I said, I know what you're thinking. A polite person would say, that won't be necessary. What I said was, that would be nice because I've been dealing with this guy for a couple of months at this point. Nah, we're not ruining soy milk with mom's knife. And I was like, you know what? Some wine sounds really good right about now. And he was like, yeah, so we're gonna do that. You know the end of the story, he never did it. You don't get the credit for doing the thing until you do the thing. That's all I'm trying to say. Everybody's got good intentions. Everybody intends to be somewhat adventurous and look out for their fellow man and, you know, do the right thing. Be charitable and generous. Nobody goes out. That's the thing, is like, Ebenezer Scrooge is one of literature's greatest villains. Dude working for him has been a dutiful servant for like 20 years. It's Christmas Day. What work could you possibly be doing in the 1800s on Christmas Day? What, do you got like a big batch of clients that don't celebrate Christmas in the middle of London in the 1800s? Anyway, the dude comes into work. He works a half day. He goes, hey, can I go home? My son's legs are all frigged up. I'd like to be with him. And it's Christmas in the 1800s. Nobody's doing anything. The streets are empty. Look outside. And Scrooge is like, no way, dude. I own you. You cannot leave until you finish the Pratchett case or whatever the heck. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've interfaced with the story, but he's a real jerk. But in Ebenezer Scrooge's head, he's the victim. He's like, this dang Jim Cratchit's trying to take advantage of me. Work a half day even though I pay him for a full day. Trying to use his kid as an excuse. Oh, back in my day, kids weren't like that, you know? It's not like Ebenezer Scrooge is going out and being like, I gotta be a jerk today. He thinks that what he's doing is for the service of either himself or his country or whatever, you know? He's not being an anus just to be an anus. But his values are obviously bad. I'm not trying to say I'm taking Ebenezer Scrooge's side. That's a little bit too bold of a claim. Yes, I'm willing to go to bat for this because we got bone hearts. I'm just saying that everybody's like in their own story, they know their own intentions. They know their own thoughts. You know, I genuinely believe most people don't set out to be bad people. One time, Kate was driving. I was in the passenger seat, and she got cut off by a dude in a BMW. Like, blatantly cut off. Not like an oops. Like, he sped up, closed the gap. And you know how I know that he deliberately did it? Because he looked over after he did it and waved his finger. Like, you're not getting in here. That guy is the only bad person I think I've ever interacted with in my entire life. I'm not saying bad people don't exist, because, you know, there's history's greatest monsters and all that. All I'm saying is that for most people, they're the heroes of their own story. That's why actions are so important. You know, the phrase, actions speak louder than words. It's very easy to think you're a good person. Much harder to be a good person. Like, I don't even know if I am a good person. I could probably act better. Would it compromise some of the entertainment value of the NLSS? Possibly. That's something I gotta reconcile with myself. Certain good-natured ribbing is kind of at the core of that show, but does it go too far sometimes? Probably. In my head, I don't want it to go too far. I want it to go just far enough. But sometimes, you know, your definitions and calibrations are a little different. In my head, I'm the good guy, just trying to tell a few jokes to ruffle somebody's feathers. I think they're the bad person, because they're trying to make me feel bad for trying to make them feel good by telling a joke. But maybe I am the bad guy in some of those situations. Even though I got good intentions, that doesn't mean you haven't stepped over the line accidentally. That's why I try to be, like, I'll apologize for anything, dude. I'll apologize for you wronging me in some situations. Dude, I'm definitely going invincibility, by the way. Somebody hit me with their car, I might be like, I'm sorry that you did that. You're gonna be sorry in court, but, like, for now, like, I'm sorry that we're both in this situation that's really gonna stink for the next little while. Anyway, where's this run? I don't know. We have soy milk, but we're not talking about it, which indicates to me that this run is probably pretty solid. Why not? For one Spirit Heart, we might as well take Dark Judas. I think it's the thing people lose sight of sometimes. But really, it's all I'm trying to say is that if you're gonna watch No Reservations and claim you're gonna drink the Snake Heart vodka, you better be eating at least like 12 different kinds of vegetables, okay? Because there's no excuse. If you're like, I would drink the alcohol with a poisonous gland in it, but then when somebody gives you a turnip, you're like, I don't really like it. It tastes icky. Like, that, it doesn't make any sense to me, is all I'm trying to say. Now, of course, whenever I say something like that, you're entitled to live your life basically the way that you see fit. But in my head, I will silently judge you. Which I think is a thing that people do all the time. That's what I tell myself anyway. Like, whenever somebody makes a mistake when driving that inconveniences me, I think everybody is like this with driving, for sure. In reality, it might be like a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old just learning how to drive. They have the fortune or misfortune of living in a large city. You know, I learned to drive in a very rural area. You know how rural the area I learned how to drive was? This is 100% real and true. It might still be part of the curriculum. Look up the curriculum for the young drivers of Ontario, okay? If you want to fact check this. Otherwise, you could just take me at my word, which would also be fine. But we learned how to do like a controlled slide in the wintertime. Like if you went off the road and ended up on the soft shoulder, how do you recover? Oh, how'd you do that? At like a test track or something like that? Nah, on the street. Because there was no other cars to inconvenience. So we'd be driving along like at speed, not too fast, but like 60 kilometers an hour. And my driving instructor would be like, okay, put us into a controlled skid by slowly veering into the soft shoulder. First off, this driving instructor, nerves of steel. I would never, ever have the gall to do that. And be like, honey, could you just put us into a controlled slide real quick? Then I'm in the controlled slide, and he's like, just focus on where you want to go. Don't hit the brakes. If you hit the brake, you'll spin out, and then just slowly accelerate, and you'll point yourself, because you're pointed in the direction you want to go, you know, you move your way out there. And that's how you recover. So there's a little, just try to remember those 20 steps, if you're ever in that situation in the future. If you're spinning out, you don't want to hit the brakes. Well, as far as I know, at least. I hope I'm not giving you misinformation. I was told you don't hit the brakes. Instead, what you do, point the steering wheel where you want to go, lightly apply some gas, get yourself out of the spin. And I've done it a couple of times in that controlled environment. Luckily, never had to, because I live not in the woods anymore, but like, you get the idea. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, like in my head, it's never that situation. It's never a 16-year-old learning to drive that like cuts me off accidentally because they didn't shoulder check. It's always like some ex-NASCAR driver who has 100% awareness and mechanical skill when driving and is just doing it to be a jerk. And God help them if they cut me off and they've got a baby on board sticker. I will lose my freaking mind. So we're gonna win this run, huh? I haven't decided how I feel about duct tape as a trinket. I think it's really good against Blue Baby and Isaac. Let me put it this way. I have no memory of the Isaac fight, even though it happened less than 2 minutes ago in all likelihood. So it's probably really, really good against Isaac. There's a battery charge back there, which is why I'm comfortable doing this. Just to save a little time. Anyway. So the whole point of this lesson, you're like, I know, you gotta do the thing you mean to do. No, the whole point of this is be more culinarily adventurous. Eat more foods that you think you don't like until you like them. Because that's the way it works, okay? Most of the time. Don't eat stuff you're allergic to. That will not hold up in court. You're not getting a friggin' dime. But eat some rutabagas. Try some turnips. I thought I didn't like turnips. When I was home, I got this meal at a restaurant. Came with turnips. Like mashed turnips and mashed potatoes. Lighting was real dark. I was like, these potatoes are a little different, but I like them. Look down, orange. I like turnips. I just had a psychological thing for some reason. I was like, I don't think I like turnips. And I eat them and go, ugh. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!